team beating Gillingham 10-0. But yeah, we are definitely going to start with this Arsenal Fulham game. Wow, what an adventure that was. I mean, Arsenal through the first 20 minutes, I would say. I think they showed the possession stats. Arsenal had 85% possession throughout the first 15, 20 minutes of that game. And they looked like they were just going to dominate Fulham. And this is a fixture that we expected from Arsenal, right? Like Fulham at home, that should be 3 points every single time. I mean, Fulham really should be 6 points every single time. But just that's not a game that you ever expect to lose. And so it went the way that you were hoping for. Arsenal looked very good on the front foot. And Arsenal have this really weird symptom, and they do this all the time. I've said this on Twitter a bunch of times. They will dominate a game for 15, 20 minutes, and then they just stop. If they don't score, they seem to lose this motivation. They seem to just let the foot off the pedal a little bit. And it's incredibly disappointing to me when this happens, because it shows the lack of mentality in this team, in my opinion. And that's kind of what happened in this game. Like Fulham was able to get back in the game, and late in the first half, Arsenal gave away a penalty through Gabriel. I should say before that, there was a goal that was chalked off for offside. Ceballos, of all people, scoring a header, and then Saka was given offsides in the buildup. Love to hear y'all's thoughts on the VAR decision, because I don't think any Arsenal fan was happy with that. I don't think any neutral fan would have been happy with that. I mean, how Saka's toe being in front of the defender's heel creates an advantage for Arsenal, I don't understand. How you even feel the need to look at that? Like, who actually in the VAR room saw that play and thought, maybe we should check if Saka's offside for this? I don't know how they come up with this type of stuff. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. And if Ceballos is offside, okay. If Bellerin is offside because he crossed it, okay. But very frustrating decision. And so Arsenal did not score. Again, as I said, they ended up giving away a penalty. Josh Maja tucks it away. And that was another one where VAR came into play again, because there was another thing in the buildup where, maybe it was offside, maybe it wasn't. The actual foul from Gabriel, to me, was definitely a penalty. It was a stupid challenge. But yeah, the lines came out once again, and we were trying to decide, were they offside in the buildup? Were they not? And eventually they did give the penalty. Josh Maja tucked it away very well, to be fair to him. But at the end of the first half, you're sitting there thinking, how did Arsenal not score? What is VAR doing? And, Fulham are in the lead, and they've got something to hold on to for a team that is fighting relegation. And this would have been the first time they've ever won away to Arsenal. Just to underline my point that I said about, this is a game you expect 3 points. They've literally never won against Arsenal at the Emirates, and Arsenal certainly almost gave them that opportunity. If we look at the second half, I do need to just take a look at my notes here. Also, for people who are new coming through, be sure to hit that like button on the stream. Really helps out. I am doing this Arsenal match review. Usually I make the full videos, as you know, but today, because there were multiple games going on at the same time and all this stuff, I just wanted to give this a try. And less editing for me later. But if you are watching this back later, also be sure to hit that like button and turn on the post notifications so you don't miss the live streams when they happen. But leave your thoughts in the comments, y'all. I do want to hear what y'all are saying about this Arsenal game before we get into the second half here. Let me see. Oh, also worth noting, I wrote this down in the first half. Gareth Southgate was at the game, so maybe taking a look at Smith Rowe, maybe taking a look at Saka. I mean, who's to say, really? But I mean, I don't think he was there to get a look at Loftus-Cheek. We can say that much. I'd be curious if Saka has a shout to potentially at least get in the side in the future. I don't really see him breaking in for the Euros this summer, but I should hope that Saka is in the Euro side this summer. I don't see how he's done anything to not deserve a spot there. He's been called up in the international windows for the most part. And I would love to see him given a chance at a more attacking position if they don't play five at the back and they play with wingers at the Euros. I would love to see Saka get a chance out wide. I know that there's a lot of competition for those spots, but if Sancho is still not fully fit, depending on who they bring and who they don't, I could see Saka getting a spot there as well. And I think he'll be on the team either way, just for his versatility, his ability to play wing back. But yeah, probably wasn't there to look at Smith Rowe for now, but maybe a little extra look at Saka. Moving on into the second half. Okay, so the penalty was actually in the second half. I was wrong. But yeah, they went up well, did Fulham, and then Arsenal really were chasing the game, brought on Partey, brought on Pepe. And this is where we can kind of get into the lineup a little bit as well. The back line, it was rough today. Xhaka at left back did as well as he could, but Bellerin was back in at right back. Oh, great timing, Ross, with the question. Weakest links in the side. I mean, for me, it was probably those two fullback positions. I think Xhaka and Bellerin for me is kind of where the weak links are. Like if I'm Fulham and I'm looking at that starting 11 that Arsenal put out, I'm targeting those two. I mean, Xhaka, as I mentioned in a couple of my recent videos for Arsenal, since Tierney's gone down, he has positives from that position, but just the egregious lack of pace is clearly a huge problem. And then Bellerin on the other side, he just has not covered himself in glory this season in any fashion at all. I worry about Bellerin, like, as soon as he gets the ball. Everything he does off the ball is actually really good. I think of all of Arsenal's right backs, his movement, his runs into the attacking third, his positional play, I think he is actually the best at that because he's the most natural right back. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like Chambers still is learning that. Maitland-Niles when he was here, yeah. And even Cedric at times. He's a great wing player. He's great at staying out wide. But in terms of Bellerin's run, I mean, it's unmatched. But the moment he gets the ball, it's over. Like, he is a pretty average passer. He can't really dribble. He's lost all his pace. And defensively, he's just all over the place, man. So I would say he's up there with weak links. Vic saying Bellerin and El Neni weakest links in the side. Yeah, El Neni, he was pretty average today. Also, yeah, the El Neni Ceballos pivot. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're winning a lot of Premier League games with that. Honestly, it wasn't fullbacks defense that killed us. It was their involvement on offense that was terrible. Yeah, and that shows it's important to Arteta's tactics as well, because if you looked at the beginning of the season, everything was going through Kieran Tierney. And to be fair, Bellerin was actually playing better at the beginning of the season as well. Even when Cedric has been in the side and doing well, you look at Chambers' involvement recently in the Europa League. It's a very important part of Arsenal's tactics that the fullbacks get forward and that they make a big impact on the attack. And so I think you're right, Ross. It really hamstrings Arsenal. It puts a lot more pressure on the attacking players. And really, they can hold it. I mean, let's be honest. Arsenal created a ton of chances in this game. Martinelli created several. Martinelli probably should have scored, I would say, 3-4 goals. Just in the first couple of minutes, he could have scored twice. And honestly, I was really disappointed with Martinelli's finishing. I mean, he was buzzing about. He was causing problems. And, that's what we come to expect of him. But he was in a position where he could have won Arsenal the game multiple times. I think especially that one cutback from Smith Rowe. I think it was literally in the 5th minute or something. He's got to be scoring that from, I don't know what it was, 5 yards away from goal. And then, yeah, they made some chances in the second half as well. Saka had a few. Lacazette was a little quiet today. And that is going to be a big thing going forward. Lacazette coming off with a hamstring injury. Very concerning for Arsenal. As much as Eddie Nketiah did score that game-winning goal, tapping it home at the back post, I would not feel confident if Aubameyang is still sick, if Lacazette's hamstring is not healthy, which, typically that's a 2-week injury. So you're looking at him missing the next leg, or rather the semifinal of the Europa League first leg against Villarreal. I would not feel confident going into that game with Nketiah at striker. Maybe you think about putting Martinelli as a center striker. Maybe you think about using Balogun, but to me, Eddie Nketiah is not going to be the answer there. I mean, bro, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Saka could play striker because my man has been playing wing back. He's played left wing. He's played cam. He's played center mid as an 8. He's played right back for a good chunk of the second half in this game. Like, I mean, why not put Saka as striker at this point? Vic saying if Laka is out for Villarreal, who would you play up top? I'd play Martinelli. Yeah, I think Martinelli is probably the best option, but as Ross said, by Villarreal, hopefully Alba would be back. I mean, that's not this coming week; it's the week after. So yeah, hopefully in a couple weeks, Aubameyang is healthy. But honestly, I don't know anything about malaria. If someone can enlighten me in the chat or in the comments later on YouTube, like Aubameyang, I feel like he could be out for a while. I feel like it's a pretty serious disease, but I don't really know how it works because clearly he got infected a couple weeks before and it didn't really hit him too hard. Like he was able to play multiple games before he got super sick. So yeah, I'm worried about him, man. But to answer your question, Vic, I think yeah, I'd probably roll the dice on Martinelli. I would think about putting Balogun in. Like honestly, I've seen him a couple times in the Europa League, and that would be big to ask him to start. But I think he's at least got to be on the bench for those games and actually used off the bench. Like I want to see what he can do. He signed the new contract. Let's have some faith in him. I just don't see Nketiah winning us a game in the semifinals of the Europa League. That's just me. But I'd love to know what y'all think. Definitely drop it in the chat. Who would be your striker if Laka and Alba are out for that Villarreal game? I mean, we're probably going to see it against Everton next Friday as well. I can't imagine. I mean, Laka will probably be out for that. My guess is that Aubameyang would still be out. And even if he's back, he might not be fully fit. So we'll probably see on Friday what Arsenal decides to do there. And that could be a pretty good idea of what they're going to do going forward. We all know he'll pick Eddie. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, Vic. He'll ring the phone and yeah, Eddie will answer and he will be in the starting lineup. Can we talk about his celebration? Because my guy, like I understand it's been tough for Eddie. If you just look at it purely from his perspective, like he was starting a ton of games earlier on in the season, and then he kind of fell off. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. He's spent more time back with the U23s. And then, so I'm sure this felt like a big moment for him. He hadn't scored for Arsenal in a while, and it was the last gasp. But, bro, to equalize against Fulham in the last minute, it was a tap-in as well. Why are you doing all this in front of an empty stadium? Like, to prevent our first loss to Fulham at home ever in the league. I was far from impressed, but what's Ross saying? Imagine he'll give Eddie an audition on Friday, but even if he fails the audition, he'll get in the UEL side. That's where Arsenal are at right now, man. The squad is thin, the injuries are piling up, and I mean that's kind of just what it is at this point. So